Greetings everyone, welcome back to the channel. So tonight is the review of a final debate between Dr. Peter Phillips and the most honorable Andrew Holness. So tonight was the leadership debate, and this is the debate that we have been waiting for. I mean, the first one was good because I enjoyed the banter between the JLP and the PNP. Right, I really enjoyed the banter, and when I scored, it came down to a tie. Right, the finance debate was a little bit disappointing. It was boring. I mean, Nigel was his usual self, and Mark Golding was really low energy, flat and boring. Me didn't want to give him a boom or a little Gatorade or something like that. He never ready. And I asked the viewers to give the score, but clearly Dr. Nigel Clark won that debate, right? In terms of like style, structure, presence, yeah, I would give it to Dr. Nigel Clark. So tonight now was between the most honorable Andrew Holness and Dr. Peter Phillips. Tonight was the debate that we have been waiting for. Yo, this debate lived up to the billing. You remember in my last video, I say, yo, me even hype up this because persons were hyping up the finance one and it fell flat. But tonight, this was like good debate. It reminded me of working with my team in Burger King Schools debate. Yo, this was intense. And I must highlight Deanne Jackson Miller. What a woman will come with some pointed questions and men business. I mean, she put Honorable Andrew Holness under pressure, and she put Dr. Peter Phillips under pressure. I mean, her questions were brilliant. I mean, we're soon getting to persons blaming her for the outcome of the debate, which is foolishness, because we know that Deanne Jackson Miller, Emily Crooks, and Cliff Hughes, they are hard-hitting journalists, right? Them not play when it comes to finding about information. So Wayne Marshall just tweeted and said Deanne Jackson Miller called him for an interview and he was fretting. The man said that I fret. He feel nervous for going for Deanne Jackson Miller because she's just that kind of journalist. Yo, the questions, Deanne Jackson Miller, spot on. Alright, so for both opening statements, Dr. Peter Phillips came out and he said vote for the PNP, which I think the previous debaters didn't do. So he had to come and do some housekeeping there and say put forward the PNP and say vote for the PNP, because they didn't do that in the previous two debates, right? However, it was a little bit too slow, and because he had to do so much work, it took away from other things that he could say. But Andrew Holness came out now and he was empathetic when he wished him mother happy birthday. I mean, yeah, Mr. Holness, you wish your mother happy birthday a long time. So you just come out now and you say happy birthday. I mean, you want to appeal to people, say, boy, you're down to earth and you're a family man. But it worked for me. I kind of like it, right? When I talk about the master something and him talk to Master and say, I say, yeah man, you know, he wants to really be relatable and be down to earth. And I kind of like that. So for me, I would give Mr. Holness the edge there with the opening statement. Not a great edge. So if I was scoring them out of 10, I would give Mr. Holness like an 8 out of 10, and Dr. Phillips, for me, probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But I would give Mr. Holness the edge for the opening statement. When it came to the debate now, it's as if for some of the questions that were posed to Mr. Holness, he was reading from a paper. And I don't like when people like read from a paper like that in a debate. It shows lack of preparation and a lacking of the facts. So it's like he came with prepared answers, and it doesn't matter what the question was saying, as long as it goes something with the answer, he was going to read the answer. And with being the Prime Minister for 4.5 years, he should be equipped with the facts, where even if you have points written down, but you shouldn't be actually reading from a script. So that took away some sort of credence that I would give to the Prime Minister because he was reading from a paper. Me never really liked that he was reading from a paper. The first time though, when he called Peter Phillips, Peter Papa Tax Phillips, me really like that. Come and say, yeah man, the Prime Minister come with some spunk, me like it. But he kept on saying it, and I believe that it lost its effectiveness. Because once you say it one time and drop the punchline, yeah, we say yeah, and we laugh, and we get it, and we move on. But don't keep going back to it because it becomes monotonous, and then it becomes boring, and people say, Lord, he can't stop saying that. You understand? Phillips' point kept on pointing out clearly what was not done, and he also kept on saying what the PNP would do, and I give him high marks for that, because in the previous debates the PNP kept on saying this is what the JLP didn't do, this is what the JLP didn't do, this is what the JLP didn't do, and they barely mentioned what the PNP was going to do. But tonight Dr. Phillips mentioned what the JLP didn't do, what they didn't achieve, what they failed to bring to fruition, and he clearly states in a lot of the points what the PNP was going to do if they were elected as the government. And one of the things that he said, if you want the country to go in safe hands, you know, give it to the PNP, because he did it in 2011 to 2016. So he's basically saying that he can do it again. I'm looking at my notes, because if the Prime Minister can read from a script, I can look at my notes as well. They ask a question about education, right? The Prime Minister was kind of beating around the bush and skirting around the issues because it was taking too long to get to his point. But Dr. Phillips' rebuttal was really good. Dr. Phillips pointed out clearly what was not done, and he said that certain things needed to speed up, and he spoke directly about the tablets, and I think that was good, because if we had the tablets, the online learning wouldn't be so difficult. I mean, it probably wouldn't be great, but teachers would have the tablets like myself, so we can actually help the students. Mr. Holness didn't answer about the fixed election dates. I'll know him not mention it, and I think that he owes us to tell us why that didn't happen, because that was one of the main promises in their manifesto and talking points in the previous election, when in 2016, right, on the campaign trail, he spoke about that, and he didn't tonight say why that was not answered, why that never come to fruition, right? Dan Jackson Miller asked him about a question saying that there was a spike, yet he called the election, and he called the election, right, even though that there was a spike. And if that's crazy, because he might put people's life in a jeopardy. You understand? He says that the country can't stop because other persons call election and the country must move on and the country can't stay in a shutdown. I mean, that's a cookie cutter answer, and I believe that was probably one of the written answer. But Andrew Holness should know that that question was going to be put to him. Worse than Diane Jackson Miller, George Davis, that question there got to be put out there. So he should have put forward a better answer. You understand? You understand? And then Dr. Phillips hit him out of the park with that the rebuttal there. You understand? Because Dr. Phillips said, look here, you're prioritizing politics over people's lives. You get to me and say, and he was saying that the Prime Minister was irresponsible for calling the election in the spike. And I mean, because Dr. Phillips was rebutting, Mr. Holness didn't get a chance to rebut that rebuttal. So I think that resonated with people, that the Prime Minister was irresponsible, and that was a great hit. That was a real uppercut to the Prime Minister with that one, right? The question about Dr. Phillips' health, some persons were saying that it was not a good question by George Davis and it was insensitive and it shouldn't be asked, but I think it was an important question because that is one of the talking points. Now persons are saying that Dr. Phillips is ill and him should not run, him supposed to, go rest and take care of his health and his treatment, because I was a little concerned about that, being on the campaign trail and having that kind of illness. If he contracts COVID, it's a problem. So I think it was a relevant question, and Dr. Phillips hit that out of the park. Very brilliant answer. He said that he was cancer free and him ready for serve so as the Lord permits. And I think the Honorable Andrew Holness's rebuttal was brilliant too, because he could have given Dr. Phillips a low blow by saying, go home, go sit down. Sorry, in my terms. But he didn't do that. He said, look here, man. Ray XYZ, and his answer was his rebuttal, I should say, was brilliant, because he did not attack Dr. Phillips, because people would have hung him at the stakes for that if he had spoken about the leader of the opposition's health. You understand? Corruption now. Mr. Holness, you should have known that that question was coming above everything else. You should have known, say, corruption, 5 in 4, the fixed election date, sleeping with your doors open. You should know that those questions were coming. You talk about corruption, man. I didn't like your answer, Mr. Holness. It was too basic. I needed you to give me an answer that would hit Dr. Phillips out of the park, because remember too, you know, that the PNP has had several scandals, and some of those persons are still in the opposition. See, you could have talked about that too. I mean, not going tit for tat for say, uno do it and we do it too, you know. But Dr. Phillips came out strong on the corruption issue and saying that the OPM, that's the Office of the Prime Minister, has now become a holding cell for persons who are caught in corruption scandals, and them still in your cabinet or them still on your ticket. Oh my God, Dr. Phillips walked all over you with the corruption question, and you allowed him to get away with it. You allowed him to get away with it. Man, no, me never like that. Even when somebody else asks you another question, you should say, make you address that. You get to me and say, and then answer what them ask you. But you shouldn't allow Dr. Phillips to get away with such a brilliant answer to a corruption question. You say, well, we've dealt with it when we heard about that. Dr. Phillips said, if we never protest, Ruel Reid would not be moved. Andrew Wheatley would not. Oh my God, Dr. Phillips went in on that corruption question. Mr. Holness, you shouldn't allow Dr. Phillips to get over that. I can't say that enough. Right? Phillips said what can be done to reduce the import bill, and he gave a lot of plausible things that could be done. Right? And then the Prime Minister also said what also can be done and what he is currently doing. And I think they were evenly matched there. I liked both responses there when it came to reducing the import bill. Right? When Dr. Phillips, when the question came about NIDS, undated resignation letters, right? Mr. Holness, don't touch on undated resignation letters that were signed, you know. Mr. Holness, don't touch that, because I guess he cannot explain that away, but he spoke about it. And then he was flip-flopping. First he said that he accepted the decision of the court, and then later on he came back and said that the PNP blocked it. And Dr. Phillips went in on him. Him shouldn't blame the PNP, because Dr. Phillips I gotta use it and say, look here, man, you were irresponsible because you went against good judgment and good advice, and you go with this for break the constitution of the country. And I think that was another uppercut for Mr. Holness. I mean, Dr. Phillips went in on the NIDS thing, and he said that the Prime Minister was arrogant. Oh my God, he went in on the NIDS issue, right? One of the things that came out of the debate was when Diane Jackson Miller asked about women in the politics in Parliament, right? Dr. Phillips said that there are many things that are preventing them issues, right? Now for them need somebody to take care of them baby, them have the burden of housework, so those are some of the barriers. But he is going to, you know, commit to put in 50%. Good. A lot of persons are misconstruing that he was saying that the woman them for stay in them place are in the home for cook, clean and wash. And I see a lot of popular persons posting it, but that's not what he said. He never said that the woman's place is in the home. He was saying that yes, they want to put more women in Parliament, but the women have a lot of barriers preventing them from being in Parliament, and his party, if elected, they would address these things. And I think that was a good answer, but persons either they didn't hear or they have selective hearing and running with that narrative. So I would also want to clarify that the issue of SOEs came up, right? And Dr. Phillips was caught in a pickle because he said that he didn't believe in SOEs as a crime plan, but yet still he kept on voting for them. I think he tried to address it, but his answer wasn't adequate enough. And you know, the Prime Minister catch him on that and say, look here, it's because you know say it's effective. That's why I want to keep on voting for it. And I think another question came to Dr. Phillips saying that would you discontinue it, right? Or never call it again? And he answered that brilliantly. He was saying, look here, I can't say never because we can't predict the future and we don't know what is going to happen. However, a plan needs to come up with crime, but he did not go into that plan. Dr. Phillips or the Prime Minister didn't go into like the plans that they had for crime, and that was probably one of the low points of the debate. They didn't go into specifics, right? When the brain drain answer came, when the brain drain question came, I thought Dr. Phillips had the upper hand on the brain drain because he touched on the creative industries, and I'm big on the creative industries. You understand what I say? Because we can make money out of creative industries. We need to break over our over-reliance on tourism. How we see with COVID now, tourism now really going with nothing. Remittances kind of cut off. We are the country of reggae music, you know. People out there can sing like crazy. People can dance. We have painters. We have so many things that we can make money off of. One of the things I was talking with one of my friends about, me I say, yo, we're supposed to have live music all over Jamaica, but that is barely happening. And a lot of it is happening in Kingston. When you look all over the world, me I talked before COVID, them have some big music festivals all over the world, and we only have a few music festivals in Jamaica. And I mean our music, them have those festivals for some of them are people of different race singing our kinds of music. You get what I say? So to the closing statements now, I think both closing statements were really good. Dr. Phillips came out strong and he said what he needed to say. The Prime Minister came out strong as well and he said what he needed to say, even though up in the debate when him keep on I use the master and I said master, call him. I look kind of suspicious, but yeah, Mr. Prime Minister, I get what you try to say. However, overall, you know, I listened to some other panelists too. I mean, on Nationwide, Cliff said it was a draw. I didn't hear what Tyrone said, but that's for another story. However, on TVJ with Emily and her panelists, right? Strawn from the JLP said it was Mr. Holness, and the PNP YO General Secretary, I don't remember his name, he said that the PNP, we know that there was political allegiance. Them are gonna go with them political party, right? However, the two neutral persons on the panel gave the victory to Dr. Phillips, but it was close. I think Jody said by about 3 or 4 points, and then this other young man, I don't remember his name either, he gave it by 1 point to Dr. Phillips. But based on my watching and observing of the debate, I thought Dr. Phillips won it hands down. Right? If I'm grading it out of 100, I'd give Dr. Phillips a 95 and I would give Mr. Holness about a 75 to 80, right? Because he didn't answer some of the questions and he skirted around them and he seemed very arrogant tonight. The Prime Minister seemed very arrogant tonight, and Dr. Phillips was cool, calm, collected, and he was very focused. He said that this is what I'm here to do, to put forward the points of the PNP and to outline what the JLP did not do that they promised. And I'm going to say that the PNP, if given the opportunity, will do a much better job as government, and these are the things that are going to make us better than this current government. So tonight, Dr. Phillips won this debate and he was the clear winner tonight. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave your comment and your thoughts about who won, your high points, your low points, what was the sticking point for you. Leave it in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching.